on our topic, home remedies. Home remedies that really work. These are things you can incorporate into your life. At the end of 24 minutes, you then can type any health question you have. John, my producer, will then read me the questions at the end of 24 minutes. I'll then speak for another 24 minutes, and then you could type in any other questions you have anytime during the show. You don't have to wait till the end of 24 minutes. Anytime during the segments, John will then read me the questions. So this is a great opportunity for you to get your healthcare questions answered because everybody's got questions. I got questions. We don't know where to turn. So, all right, John, I'm ready to start whenever you are. John's giving me a finger. Not the one you're thinking. He's giving me a good one. So my nose itches all of a sudden. I remember when I first started doing podcasts, every time I'd start, my nose would itch. All right, ready? Here we go. Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. Glad you're with me today. We're going to have a fun show today. We're going to talk about home remedies that really work. Things that you can do every single day to incorporate to try to get yourself well. And this is without drugs, without surgery. Now, I'm not against drugs and surgery. Sometimes you need that. But I'm going to go old school. These are the things that your grandmother did that worked before we had all the medicine we have available, all the health care, we call it, that's available. These are the things that actually work. And the nice part is they're all safe. If something goes wrong, nothing's going to go wrong. But, you know, it's safe, low risk, high reward. And that's how I like to treat all my patients, whether it's through chiropractic, acoustic wave therapy, cold laser, nutrition. Very high reward, very low risk when it comes to healthcare. Healthcare, sometimes the other way around. And if you've been to the healthcare systems, you kind of know sometimes that's the case. So we got a lot to cover today. I am not going to be able to finish. So if I don't finish, you can always request the show notes and just go to my website, drjoe.com, and just there's a little square on the bottom of the page, and that'll send an email to me, and it'll just put in home remedies. I'll send you these show notes absolutely free. It's my gift to you. I know I talk fast. I know you're not going to be able to write all this stuff down, so I'll just send it to you, and it's my gift, so free. So I want to talk about something I do a lot in the winter, not so much in the summer, but in the winter, and it's called ginger tea. Now, ginger has been known for years to help with things like nausea, motion sickness, morning sickness, but it's also anti-inflammatory. It's a stimulant. It's actually an aphrodisiac, so be careful with that. But it feels great if you ever drank real ginger tea, not the bags, but the real ginger. So what I do is this. I get the organic ginger, make sure it's organic, because sometimes the ginger is weird shaped and big, and I don't know what they're doing to that, but that's not real ginger. It's usually kind of wrinkly. It's got all these little like arms sticking out of them, and you want to peel it. So what I do is I have a glove that I wear to peel with. A gal I used to date, I used to do the ginger, and I cut my hand, so she went and got me a glove, and they're real cheap. I found out they're really cheap. So, but you can put it on, and then when you're peeling it, you hit the glove, and you don't hit your finger, and you don't cut your finger. And I peel the ginger, and it takes just a few minutes, but I watch TV while I'm doing it. It's no big deal. And I put it in a food processor, like a Vitamix. And I covered about a third or a half full with organic lemon juice. Now, you can use bottled organic lemon juice, or you can squeeze your own. And then I puree the heck out of it. Because ginger has a tendency to be very stringy. So you want to puree the heck out of it, really grind it up until it's the consistency like pizza sauce. And then what I do is I take this slurry and I put it in ice cube trays. And I freeze it. And then I take it out of the ice cube trays, I put it in a container, I put it in my freezer. So in the winter, almost every morning, I'll have a glass of ginger tea. So I'll take the ginger, put it in some hot water. If you do honey, do local organic honey, or you can do stevia or Lohan. And I drink that first thing in the morning. And let me tell you, wakes you up, feel great, energizes you, clear thought, and it's all natural, helps with digestion. Now, it is a diuretic, so I like to drink it in the morning. If I drink it at night, I pee too much at night. So that's a great thing you can do. And the reason I do it that way is because this way I have a bunch of cubes done all at once. I know my friend Becky used to slice up ginger and just put it in a tea and steep it that way and then drink it. But I found if you ground it up, you're actually eating the ginger itself, which is great, source of fiber as well. So ginger tea is just fantastic. Put it in your freezer, and you'll be very, very happy with this little trick. Okay. And again, you want to kickstart in the morning. I'm not a fan of caffeine, of course, but caffeine can actually overstimulate your brain and your nervous system. Ginger is a very subtle stimulation. So I like it. So you might want to try that. If you're just tuning in, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. We're talking today about home remedies that really work, things that you can do every single day. So this is just going to be a check-off list, and got a lot to cover. My grandmother, Grandma Esposito, she was very big on garlic and olive oil, and she used it for everything. If you had teething issues, She put the garlic and the olive oil on your teeth as a baby. She ate garlic every day. And just thinking about her, I mean, she passed 50 years ago, maybe. I still remember, maybe 40 years ago. I still remember she always smelled like garlic. But garlic is so healthy. It's antibiotic, antiviral, antifungal. I remember her hands smelled like garlic. Everything smelled like garlic with her. But she lived to, we're guessing, around 100. Because we didn't know when she was born, because she was born in Italy, and there was no birth certificates or anything then. So she wasn't even sure when she was born. So we guessed. So 10 kids, rough life, physically. And the garlic is one of the things that really kept her going, I believe. So garlic is just incredible. Now, here's how you want to eat garlic. You want to peel it or put it through a garlic press, chop it up. My grandmother just take her hand and squish it with her hand and then chop it up with a knife. Let it sit for about 5 minutes. And the reason is there's chemicals in garlic like allicin and allicinase, and they become allicin. And allicin is the active component that makes it so healthy. So don't just take a clove of garlic and eat it. You want to smash it up, let it sit for about 5 minutes, put it through a garlic press is really the ultimate, and then you could eat it. Now, if you cook it, you do destroy some of the benefits, but not a lot. So you can put it in a soup, you can put it in salad, make a pesto with it. I know I love growing basil, so I grow basil and I grow garlic too. And by the way, garlic is so ridiculously easy to grow. Take cloves and stick them in the ground. Make sure the pointy part is up, otherwise it won't grow. And you put it in fall. And then the next spring, you'll see green sprouts come up. The green sprouts will start to dry out. When they dry out, it's time to harvest the garlic. So really easy to grow. I grow it every year. So many health benefits to it. Great for colds, great for flu. If you feel something coming on, take an extra dose of it. Now, I created this thing, and we call it Dr. Joe's Seasonal Tonic. And we used to call it cold and flu tonic, but we're not allowed to say we're treating a disease, so I can't call it that. But it was ginger, horseradish, cayenne pepper, onion, and garlic. And I'd puree that in an apple cider vinegar, and then I'd let it sit. And I kept it on my shelf, didn't need to be refrigerated. And whenever I feel a little cold or flu or an allergy, I take a couple of teaspoons of this stuff. Now, it is powerful. Let me tell you, you're going to stink when you eat it, but works amazingly well. So I used to make it and give it to my patients, but then I realized I don't have a food license. I can't do that. So I actually have a manufacturer manufacture it for me now. And it's Dr. Joe's Seasonal Tonic. It's on the website, drjoe.com, in the store section. And I carry it with me all the time. So many people, especially people that travel, pilots, flight attendants, people that travel for business, they carry a bottle with them, and they'll take 2 or 3 dropperfuls as soon as they start feeling a little under the weather. And in many cases, not always, but many cases, you take 2 or 3 dropperfuls every hour, wipes it right out. So it's really cool. So you can cook with garlic, you can make salad dressings with garlic, or you can actually carry Dr. Joe's Seasonal Tonic with you and see if that helps. And in most cases, it does. Now, one of the downsides of garlic is you get bad breath, right? So what can we do for that? Well, one of the things we can do is we can chew parsley. Parsley has chlorophyll in it, which helps neutralize the garlic breath. Dr. Joe's Super Greens has chlorophyll in as well. That can help neutralize the garlic breath. Now, it doesn't work 100%. You're still going to stink a little bit. So later on, I'm going to tell you a little trick that I do, and I'll tell you now too, is I carry cloves with me. Now, you can go to a place like Sprouts. They have it in bulk, and you only need a few, maybe 20 or 30 cloves. And I put them in a little bag, and I have them in my car. I have them in my suit jackets. And if I'm going to be giving a lecture, if I'm going to be going to an event, and I go to a lot of events, I'll take a clove, I'll break the little bud off because that dissolves in your mouth, and I'll just suck on the clove. Antibiotic, antiviral, and antifungal, and it helps freshen your breath. And the cool part about cloves is it's all natural, no artificial sweeteners. They last a long time. When they start to dissolve just from your saliva, chew them and swallow them, they have good stuff in them, healthy nutrients in them. And so antioxidants, that was the word. It has antioxidants in them, actually more antioxidants than blueberries. And when you swallow it, then you just chew another one. Or you can spit it out either way, whatever you like to do. But what's cool is people will be around me and they'll say, something smells nice. Because cloves smell like Christmas. And people like that. So it's just a little thing you can do. Really inexpensive. And if they sit too long, they might start to lose some of their flavor. I mean, they cost 5 cents. For a bag of them. So throw them away, get new ones. That's all. I like Sprouts because they're organic and you can buy as little as you want. You don't have to buy a whole container of them. And just, every couple of months, if I start to notice they're losing their flavor, I'll throw them out, get new ones. Now, you can make clove tea as well, which is very good for you, but we'll talk about cloves later. We'll talk about garlic right now. But just a neat little thing you can do. I'm usually pretty careful if I'm going to an event. I don't eat garlic that day, but garlic has so many medicinal benefits. Again, you grow your own. Try to get organic if you can. The price difference is negligible. And anything that grows underground, I like to think organic because you have pesticides and chemicals can absorb into anything that grows underground. So, carrots, onions, parsnips, garlic, I like to get organic. That's just a simple thing for a very, very small amount of money. Now, one of the things I hate sore throats. I don't know anybody who likes sore throats, actually. But sore throats annoy the heck out of me. And especially as a public speaker, it can be really annoying. And it just doesn't go away, right? So what's some things we can do for sore throat? Well, one of the things you can do is use something called slippery elm tea. Now, it doesn't solve the sore throat, but I use a lot of slippery elm tea. I drink it all the time because as a speaker, I want to make sure all my mucous membranes, not just my throat, but my digestive system, it helps soothe and relax that area. But if you have a sore throat, you can just get some air-dried sea salt, okay, like Celtic salt, and some warm water, mix it together and gargle with it. Now, the salt causes the viruses, it kills the viruses. It causes them to burst, actually. It can reduce swelling, and it soothes the discomfort pretty fast. But make sure you're doing a quality salt. That's why I like Celtic salt is probably the best choice. Soul salt comes from Baja soul salt. That's very good as well. If you're going to do pink salt, make sure it's not from China. Because what we're finding is the pink Himalayan salt always had this great reputation, but in China, many times we test the samples, there's a vein of salt. And if you go down the middle of the vein, you're in good shape. But what we're finding is sometimes they're letting some stuff fall in from the sides of the vein, and you're finding heavy metal toxicity. Other countries, I don't think we found that in those tests yet. But Himalayan salt is okay as long as it's not Chinese. So if you're just tuning in, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. I'm talking today about health remedies, home remedies that really work. And it's kind of fun because I thought about this. Like, these are the things I do every day. It's just part of my life. And I said, why don't I just write them all down and start sharing them with everybody? And so really what you're getting is a look into what I do every day. This is my life. So, honey can work for a cough. About a teaspoon of honey coats the throat, helps reduce nighttime coughing. It works, some studies show, just as well as cough syrup. But here's the thing. If you're going to do honey, make sure it's organic, local honey. Because if you're getting the cheap honey from the big box store, many times that comes from other countries. And they don't have very strict rules on what they consider honey. So many times it's sugar water or sugar water mixed with a little bit of honey. And what they'll do is, some countries, if we don't trade with a certain country, they'll send it to a country that we do trade with. And then they'll label it, product of, I don't know, Peru, whatever. I'm making that up. And then we say, oh, it's Peruvian honey. No, not really. It was sent from another country to, I'm making up the country, Peru, and then they send it to us. So try to get organic, try to get local. That's the best kind of honey to use. Again, if you're going to use it with your ginger tea, that's fine. I like it. I like the honey with the ginger tea, but make sure it's local and organic. Tiny bit more expensive, well worth it. Here's the thing. When you start eating healthy, well, Dr. Joe, it's more expensive to eat healthy. It is so much less expensive to eat healthy. A pound of tofu, $1.50. Pound of meat, $9. Big difference, right? And meat, you're going to cook out some of the fat. It's going to shrink. Tofu is tofu. So beans, very inexpensive. Quinoa, I just made a quinoa and parsley salad the other day. I just took some parsley, chopped it up, threw some quinoa in there. I put some tomatoes, onions, lemon juice, salt. Spectacular. I mean, so why wouldn't you do that? So much less expensive and so much better for you than what you're going to a fast food restaurant. I made this whole dish, 2 meals, not just side dishes, meals. I'm going to guess it cost maybe $3, maybe $4. The onion, I used a little bit of the onion, so that was kind of like, I had to use it for something else. That was probably the most expensive thing. So it's so much less expensive. If you don't know what to eat, go to my website, drjoe.com. Just type in the search bar. It's a little magnifying glass on top. Click on that, type in, so what can I eat? And I just give you a lecture on breakfast, lunches, dinner, snacks. It's all free. My website has over 4,000 hours of content. And you can search it anytime, 24 hours a day, absolutely free. We post every day on social media, Absolutely free. Follow me, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Dr. Joe Esposito. Facebook is the Dr. Joe Esposito. Every single day we post. It's absolutely free. We do a podcast. Okay, some of you listen to the podcast. I'm sure you do. It's Dr. Joe for the Health of It. Dr. Joe for the Health of It. Make sure you subscribe to that. So much information I can share with you. So instead of wasting time, scrolling through Facebook or whatever it is, listen to the podcast. Go to our YouTube channel. We got hundreds of hours there. We got thousands of hours on the website. And on the bottom of the page says Dr. Joe Show, which is my Sunday Night Live show, and then podcast. And you could listen to anything you want absolutely free. And anytime you have questions, send them to me through the website. Happy to answer your questions for you. drjoe.com is the website. Anytime you have health questions, I get a ton of them every day. I answer them. drjoe.com. Now, we're talking about health that's inexpensive. Chiropractic care is the most effective, least expensive treatment for back pain. So if you have back pain, digestive issues, nutritional concerns, go to my website, drjoe.com, book an appointment. In the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Normally, the first visit is $940. I've reduced that for you, my listeners, to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment going over the x-rays, and a complete nutrition evaluation. The x-rays alone are going to cost you more than that anywhere else. Why do I do that? I do it because I want to find out what's going to be the best course of treatment for you. And maybe it's chiropractic, maybe it's orthopedist, neurologist, maybe it's an allergist, cardiologist. I don't know. Let's find out. Had somebody send me an email the other day. They said, I said, you need to go to a medical doctor right away for this. You need to go to the emergency room, actually. And they said, I don't want to. I just want you to fix it. It was not a case that I would treat. It was something I had to send out for a medical emergency. So I work very closely with my team of doctors, and we all work together to try to get the best results for you. So drjoe.com, send your questions, search the website. All the supplements we talk about are on the website, drjoe.com, too, up in the store section. And it's a great source of information. So we're talking today about home remedies that really work. I'm realizing something just now. I'm going to have to do a part 2 for this show. We've got so much information, so probably next week we'll do part 2 of home remedies that really work. Apple cider vinegar for indigestion. Now, this can be a temporary fix, and let me explain why. When you swallow food, your esophagus is your windpipe, your throat, and it goes down into the stomach. Now, the stomach is below the diaphragm. And in the diaphragm, there's a sphincter, there's a hole. And that sphincter opens, lets food drop into the stomach. The sphincter closes, you digest food, and you pass it on. Now, if you have acid reflux, heartburn, the stomach is pushing up through that sphincter. The sphincter isn't closing properly. So what happens is, how do we get the sphincter to close? Well, the one thing that works long-term is we can actually physically pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm, adjust the stomach, we call it. That's the most effective thing. But in an emergency, acid will cause the sphincter to close. If you have low stomach acid, the sphincter doesn't close very well, and that's why many times you have acid reflux. It's not that you have too much stomach acid, you have too little stomach acid. So if we can take some apple cider vinegar to increase your acid in your stomach, that can cause the sphincter to close, and many times helps with acid reflux. Doesn't solve the problem, but it's a temporary fix. And I know, let me say that again. It's not that you have too much stomach acid causing acid reflux. You many times have too little stomach acid, not enough acid to close the sphincter, and that's why you have the problem. Now, I don't like apple cider vinegar. I don't like tart things. So what I do is I use it as part of a salad dressing. I'll use raw organic apple cider vinegar. I'll use organic olive oil. Sometimes add a little bit of water to dilute it even further. And then I'll season it. I'll use Italian seasoning. I'll use pepper, powdered garlic, fresh garlic. If you want to have an Asian flair, add some powdered ginger to it, because ginger, again, anti-inflammatory, energizes the body. So you can take whatever spices you have in a cabinet, shake it up, and make yourself different types of salad dressings. Because every day you should have a salad dressing. You should have a salad. And you want to get those raw vegetables in your body. Now, it doesn't have to be just lettuce. I told you earlier I made a quinoa salad. If you don't know what quinoa is, it's like a seed or a grain. And I boil it up, and I added parsley to it. And I just added some lemon juice, pepper, salt. And so the parsley was like the lettuce. And then the quinoa made it a little heartier, too, because quinoa is very hearty, high in protein, and great source of fiber, and so inexpensive. Oh, my gosh, folks, so much cheaper than even making a ham sandwich. So you just have to know what to eat. Many of you say, Dr. Joe, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Just tell me what it is. First book I ever wrote, Eating Right for the Health of It, was a book on what to eat. Has recipes in it, tells you what to eat. Very simple. So you just have to decide what's different. When normally I'd have a ham sandwich for lunch, Or maybe I'm going to have a quinoa salad for lunch. They're both great. Ham sandwich, more expensive, very toxic. Quinoa salad, very inexpensive, very good for you. So why wouldn't you do that? Okay, it's called tabbouleh. You can do tabbouleh with cracked wheat. I did it gluten-free. I did it with quinoa. So there's so many things you just have to try. And many of you walk through the grocery store and buy the same 6 things over and over again, or same 10 things over and over again. Try something new. Go into the deli section. Try some different salads. I'm going to have a quinoa salad. Maybe I'll have a coleslaw. Cabbage, unbelievably good for you. Has probiotics in it, good bacteria. Has diindolylmethane, which helps prevent testosterone from converting into estrogen. It's anti-carcinogenic. So have a coleslaw. And you don't have to have it with mayonnaise, because I'm not a big fan of mayonnaise. Have it with an oil and vinegar dressing. Try different salads. You'll be amazed what happens when you do that. Instead of I have to have my chicken, I have to have my meat, I have to have my hamburger. You'll be fascinated. Just in a couple of days, you'll see some great changes there. All right, now, some people have told me, what about baking soda for heartburn? Well, baking soda will help neutralize the acid, but you don't want to neutralize your acid because you need stomach acid to digest your food. So in an emergency, maybe a quarter teaspoon of baking soda, half teaspoon of baking soda with some water might help short term, but it's not going to fix the problem. I really want to get to the cause of the problem, and be careful. Do not take too much baking soda because it can alkalize your system, and that could be very dangerous. So that's why I don't like messing with baking soda. So I put it in the list because, yes, it's something that might help short term, but don't jerk around with that. Aloe vera. I have an aloe plant at my house. It grows really easily, very little care. And if I ever get a burn, I just chop off a piece of the leaf and I put it on the burn, or a bee sting or a bug bite or anything. I walked out on my back porch the other day and all of a sudden I was swarmed by wasps. Well, the wasps set up shop on my porch. They didn't like me being on my porch. So I got rid of them, but I got stung twice. And so I just broke off a little bit of aloe and just rubbed it on there. It was fine. Now, you can also eat it if you wanted to. You can scrape the juice out and drink it. It's very good for the colon. It can calm down irritable bowel syndrome and things like that. But real simple, real easy, and it's a real easy plant to grow. It takes a lot to kill an aloe plant. And it also helps clean the air. So there's a lot of benefits to having an aloe plant in the house. Headaches. How many people have headaches? Raise your hands. I do. Periodically, I got hit by a car. I have a traumatic brain injury. I was hit by a car when I was 10 years old. And every now and then, if I put stress on my shoulder, my headache acts up. It took me years to figure that out. And so I gotta be very careful when I put stress on my shoulder. And I went to a shoulder surgeon. She looked at an MRI I had, and she said, "You're not surgical yet." She said, "If you take care of it, you'll never need surgery." But sometimes if I put too much stress on it, I get a headache. So a couple of things you can do. Number one is you can put ice, on the area on your forehead. But here's a little bonus tip for you. Take your feet and put them in warm water and then put ice on the area of the pain. This can go for neck pain, shoulder pain, anything really. And the blood is going to rush down to your feet, and the ice is going to cause vasoconstriction in that area. And it can get a double whammy. Instead of just using ice, put some heat on your feet too. Kind of a neat little thing. And it works pretty well. But it's not going to get to the cause of the headache. It's going to treat the symptom. It's not going to get to the cause. Chiropractic care, number one treatment for headaches. Most effective, least expensive for most headaches. Not all, most. So let's start with chiropractic care. And let's always try to find out why. When I realize my shoulder comes out of place, I get a headache, I have to get my shoulder adjusted for my headache to go away. I get my neck adjusted, it doesn't help. It's not my neck, it's my shoulder. Once I get my shoulder adjusted, I see some really cool results with that, which is kind of nice. I'm looking at the clock. Boy, I got a lot. I could probably do 5 shows on this. I put so many together. I just wrote down all the stuff I do. I got to go to break. If you have any questions, send them to me through my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. The minimum supplements everybody should take: Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, vitamin D and B complex. All of those are on the website, drjoe.com, in the store section. Send me your questions. A little square box on the bottom of the page. Click on that. Send me your questions. Happy to answer them for you. Follow me on social media. You have a lot of homework, don't you, being a listener here? Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn. We post every single day. Podcast, Dr. Joe for the Health of It. Why aren't you following it? If you are, great. If you're not, do it right now. And, of course, the YouTube channel, we have shorts, we have longs, we have everything. So I want to be your doctor. I want to give you all the information that you need to get well and stay well. I've researched now for 45 years. I want to share it with you. drjoe.com. Folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. So I put together 40 tips I wrote them down this weekend. I've gotten to 8. So you got a lot to cover. We got next week's show already laid out now. You got questions?
Is ginger tea sweet, or should I add stevia?
You should definitely add stevia. It's I don't want to say hot. It has a spiciness to it. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah. You want to add stevia, and if you do honey, organic honey is also an option. What else?
How should swollen ankles and legs be treated?
Depends on the type of swelling. If you push on the swelling and your finger stays, like you pushed on Play-Doh and it stays, that's called pitting edema. You need to get to a medical doctor right away. It's usually a sign of congestive heart failure. Now, I say heart failure, you're not going to die right away, but it means the heart isn't pumping it like it should. Now, they may put you on medications and diuretics, then come see us, and we'll do things like cold laser, which helps circulation. We'll probably talk about nitric oxide support to increase circulation. It's one of our supplements. Super Green's an essential source to strengthen up the blood vessels. That's bioflavonoids. We want to find out why you have the swelling. But if you push on it, it doesn't. If it springs right back, then come see us, and we'll work out. We'll put together a nutrition workup. We'll check the nerves in the low back. That controls the blood vessels in the legs. But if you have pitting edema, you want to get a medical evaluation right away. It's not something you want to jerk around with. So, what else?
Are toothpicks okay to use?
Toothpicks okay to use? Yeah, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be okay. I use floss, but I use unwaxed floss. Never even talked about this. That's one of these home remedies I should put in here. So many things I do on a daily basis. The waxed has bisphenol A in it, BPA, which is a hormone disruptor. And you're putting it right into your blood vessels, right through your gums. So unwaxed floss is what I use. But toothpicks are okay. I don't see any problem with them as long as they don't have. I wouldn't use the flavored ones. They probably have chemicals on them. So, what else?
Are gummy supplements the same as normal pills, or are they worse?
Gummy supplements are worse. They're not nearly the quantity of what you need. Even if it's quality, I don't know about the quality. Different ones are different, but you're not going to get enough. Like if you take 4 nitric oxide capsules, I don't know of any gummy that's going to have that much nitric oxide in it. So I'm not a fan of the gummies. They taste good. I've tried them. Not a fan of them. They usually have sugar. Sometimes they have gelatin, which is made from fish bones. And so, yeah, I would say just take the supplements. Yeah, our supplements.
And then a comment from a listener is they use an old school vegetable skinner to remove the outer part of the ginger.
Yeah, that's how I do. I do it too. I just a vegetable peeler, yeah. Mm-hmm. But I kept cutting my finger. And my old girlfriend Lisa said, "You need a glove. Stop bleeding so much." So, all right, what else?
That is all.
Great. All right, ready for part 2? Let me take a sip here. So I'll have to call this one Home Remedies That Really Work Part 1, John, because I'll just do this again next week for Part 2. Okay. All right, ready? Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. If you stayed with me, thank you. If you're just joining us, welcome. We're talking today about home remedies that really work. And just before we went on, I was talking to John, and I said, I just wrote down things that I do every day in my life that I've learned over the 45 years of doing all my research. And I made a list of about 40 different things. And as I'm talking, I'm thinking of even more. There's no way I'm going to cover them all today. Okay, I have 40 written down. I've covered 8 so far. So if you want a copy of today's show notes, which I think you should, because I'm talking fast, I know you're not writing everything down. I know. Just go to my website, drjoe.com. There's a little square box on the bottom. Click on it. You can send me an email through that, and I will send you today's show notes. Absolutely free, no charge, my gift to you. And I do that because I want you guys to have this information. 45 years of research, I know this stuff, but it took me 45 years to learn it. I don't expect you to know it. I want to give it to you in nice little bite-sized pieces so that you can start absorbing it and incorporating these things into your life. So just send me an email, drjoe.com, and I'll send you over the show notes. All right, so we talked a little bit about headaches, and we said you can put a cold compress on the area of the headache and put your feet in hot water. And that will draw the blood away from your head, and it many times helps with the headache. It doesn't treat the cause, it treats the symptoms. And chiropractic care, most effective, least expensive treatment for headaches. In most cases, not all. I can't do caffeine, I get a headache. So if I do caffeine, it's not a chiropractic issue. It's I was stupid and did caffeine. Monosodium glutamate can give you headaches. Where do you get MSG from? It has over 40 different names. Autolyzed yeast, hydrolyzed vegetable protein, sometimes just called broth. Even natural flavors can be monosodium glutamate. So be careful with that. And what I tell people, and I had somebody the other day and they just wouldn't do it, and I gave up on them, is go to my website, drjoe.com, and under clinic or chiropractic care, you'll see patient forms. And in there, you should see something called a diet diary. Print it up. I won't even know you're there. I don't keep tabs on who goes to my website. And write down everything you eat. If you have a health problem, swollen ankles, digestive issues, a chronic cough, headaches, write down everything you eat. When I say everything, if you have a piece of gum, if you have a piece of candy, if you take a sip of a martini, I don't care. Write it down. And then in the margin, notice, hey, I got a headache today. Let's go back that day and see what I did. That's how I found out I couldn't do caffeine. I didn't know. I just thought I randomly had headaches. I didn't figure it out. And finally, one day I said, let me do diet diary. And I started writing everything down. And I had gotten some chocolate-covered organic coffee beans. Double caffeine, right? And I had about 2 or 3 of them, and they were really good. And bam, I got a blazing headache that night. And I looked back. I said, son of a gun. So I waited a couple of days, had another one, got a blazing headache. And I said, all right, I can't do caffeine. It's pretty simple. So if you just keep a diet diary, and if you can print mine off the website if you want to, or use your own, and just write down your symptoms when they flare up, and you'll say, oh, that's what it is. I was talking earlier about a shoulder issue that I have, and it took me a long time to figure it out that there are certain things I can't do. And I love yard work. I love working in my yard. It's my release. And so I was shoveling wood chips the other day. And so one day I did 1 wheelbarrow. Second day I did 2 wheelbarrows. Next day I did 3. Next day I did 4. And when I did 4, my shoulder hurt. So I realized I can do 3 wheelbarrows of wood chips, and that's all I can do in one day. So you've kind of got to take responsibility for your own health and start figuring out what is it that's causing a lot of these things. So we talked about the headaches. You could do peppermint oil if it's tension headaches. Now you can rub it on your temples. You can rub it across your forehead. And you can also just inhale the peppermint oil. And that works really well. I have mint growing in my garden, and it grows like a weed. But I also grow it because it helps keep mosquitoes away. It's a little trick. It's another home remedy I got to add to this. I also plant flowers every year that attract dragonflies because dragonflies eat mosquitoes. And I've tried the zappers and the lights, and I tried the chemicals, and dragonflies are the way, man. Plant a lot of flowers. They're real pretty. You get the dragonflies in your backyard. They eat the mosquitoes. The mint also keeps the mosquitoes away. Now you have some natural mosquito repellent. Pretty neat stuff. I got to remind me, John. I got to write that in my list here. Epsom salt baths. A lot of us are deficient in magnesium. So if you do an Epsom salts bath, it can actually absorb magnesium directly through your skin. And I'll tell you a little story here. This is a fun show because I'm thinking about all these things I've done in my life. Years ago, I was a pregnant woman, and she was throwing up profusely. She couldn't even do an ice chip. She was throwing up, and she was going into dehydration, and she was starting to go into shock. And it's someone I knew very, very personal. So I got her into a bathtub, and I sat her in a bathtub because I said, I got to get water into this woman, and I don't know how to do it. And the water was actually absorbed through her skin. And within about 5 minutes, she came around. She goes, I'm feeling better. It's amazing. And I still remember the day because I'm thinking, this woman's going to die and the baby's going to die. I mean, it really was to that level. She was just like shaking and convulsing, and I didn't know what to do. And I thought, I can't even get to a hospital this fast. Put her in the water, absorb the water. I didn't put Epsom salts on, I just put water in there. But Epsom salts has magnesium in it, and that can absorb through the skin, promotes relaxation, and most of us are deficient in magnesium. In fact, I'm coming out with a new magnesium supplement, by the way, very soon. 350 different processes that go on your body need magnesium, and most of us are magnesium deficient. Now, you can get magnesium from eating nuts and seeds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, and you can take it as a supplement as well. And there's different types of magnesium. I think there's 7 or 8 different types of magnesium. So, like magnesium citrate will give you loose bowels. Magnesium oxalate, not a good one. Doesn't work very well. Magnesium malate, or glycinate, those are kind of like the general ones that are used for many different things. So you got to think about when people say, how much magnesium should I take? And I say, what kind? And they go, I don't know. Had somebody send me an email the other day. And by the way, you can always send me emails through my website, drjoe.com. And she had said, my B vitamin is high. What should I do? And I said, which B vitamin? She goes, I don't know. I said, well, there's a lot of different B vitamins. I need to know what it is. Which one is it? Are you taking a supplement? Is it methylated? Is it not methylated? So sometimes it's a quick answer, but sometimes I need a little more information. So just so you know. Now, bananas can also work for muscle cramps because they're potassium rich and they really help calm down the nervous system. But, bananas can be high in sugar too, so just be careful. Don't eat too many of them. One of the things I like to do is I'll take bananas, I'll buy bananas, like especially if they're on a discount rack, peel them and cut them up into, maybe thirds of the banana and freeze them. I freeze them in glass, not in plastic. And then I'll put maybe a half a banana or a banana in my morning drink, my Super Greens and Essential Source. I'll put a little frozen banana in there, and then I'll add 10 drops of Dr. Joe's vitamin D, and I'll drink that first thing in the morning. And let me tell you, man, if you do that for a couple of days, your life changes. It's crazy. I have people taking this Super Greens and Essential Source for decades now. And they're like, Dr. Joe, I can't live without this stuff. This stuff's amazing. I hear this all the time. I've tried other brands 3 times the price. Not nearly as good as yours. So you definitely, minimum supplement should be Super Green Essential Source B Complex and vitamin D. But frozen bananas make it kind of like a smoothie. My father used to call it a wingding because I think it was Dairy Queen used to have the wingdings. And it was like ice cream, whipped up ice cream in a drink and like a milkshake. And so he used to make his own wingdings with bananas. I hadn't thought about that in years. And so you can do frozen bananas if you want and get some nutrients along with the Super Greens and Essential Source. It's kind of neat. Coconut water. If just tuning in, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. We're talking today about home remedies that really work. Coconut water, really good for recovery. Way better than I find in sports drinks, too. So if you're going to do a coconut water, that's amazing. It is pretty high in sugar, so just don't drink it like soda. But for recovery, a hot, sweaty day, I have coconut water in my refrigerator. If I'm out in the garden and I overdo it, first thing I do, chug a coconut water. I like it with the pulp in it. I like it with the chunks in it. I don't know. I like chunk. I don't drink orange juice anymore, and I realize it's pure sugar. But I used to like chunky orange juice too with the pulp. So now, if you want to make a juice, you can grind up the whole food like a Vitamix, and grind up the whole orange, or grind up the whole grape, or whatever it is. You'll drink a lot more than you would just eating it, but at least you're getting the fiber too and the phytonutrients, and it offsets that sugar blast that plain juices give you. I don't recommend fruit juices ever. Chamomile tea, very relaxing. I'm going to tell you a little trick. Another one, John. Write this one down. John's my producer, by the way, and I think of these things as I'm doing it. And poor John, I make him work. I'll write this down. Tea bags. Have people use tea bags, right? Tea bags many times have microplastics on them. They're coated with plastic, and so the plastic can get into your tea and spike your microplastics. I did a show on that not long ago. I have another one coming up in my rotation. So what I do is I take my tea bags, if I have them, I cut them open, and I have a tea ball. It's a little round steel ball. I bought 3 of them on Amazon for, I think, $11 or $12. And I dump the tea bag contents into the tea ball, and then I put that in my tea with a little bit of stevia. That's how I make my tea. Now, you can buy loose tea, which is a heck of a lot cheaper than tea bags, and just use the tea ball. No microplastics. Way cheaper. Why wouldn't you do it? So that's what you need to do. Okay? So don't use tea bags anymore. And even the ones that say natural and stuff, because they're basically paper. So what's making the paper not dissolve? Many times coated with a microplastic. Okay? So I used a tea ball and a little stevia, and that's how I make tea. I make tea every day. I have tea at least once a day, sometimes 2-3 times a day. I can't do caffeine, so I'll do like chamomile tea. I love chamomile tea. I love mint tea. I love licorice tea. Fennel seeds, I've used that for tea. There's so many different things. Turmeric, you can do turmeric tea. Turmeric's a little tart, a little strong, but it's great anti-inflammatory. And you can mix them. And I go back to Sprouts again because I shop there a lot. I have no affiliation with the store. And they have a bulk section. And they have bulk teas. So buy a little bit of each tea. See which one you like. Mix them up if you want to. And teas are great. And a little bit of stevia in there to sweeten it if you need to. Phenomenal. But chamomile, very calming. Now, one of the things they say is you can do chamomile tea before you go to bed at night. Well, if I do tea before I go to bed at night, I wake up and pee. I'm getting old. I can't stay asleep like I used to. I was telling a friend of mine, we were talking about the good old days. And if I'd go out with my friends in high school, and I used to drink, I never liked it, but I drank because it was, it was a cool thing to do. And I was a big football player, captain my football team sometimes. And we rotated captains, that's why. And so I was this 210-pound, long-haired, dirtbag with a van with a mural on the side and fur interior. And we'd go out drinking. And so I just remember one time, sleeping 12 hours and not waking up once to pee after drinking. That's when you were young and had a good bladder. So chamomile tea, I just can't do it at night. And you can take chamomile supplements if you wanted to, too. That's always an option if you needed to sleep. My mother taught me this one, onion poultice, if you were sick. And I thought she was kidding when she told me this. But you can take sliced onions and put them like in a cloth and lay them across your chest and then put a warm hot pack over it, and it helps with chest congestion. But she also said that her mother, my grandmother, would slice onions and put them in their socks when they go to bed at night, and then put a plastic bag around their feet. And when they woke up in the morning, many times the cold went away. And I thought, come on, I'm a scientist. So I did it once. My bed stunk, but let me tell you, I felt great the next morning. So slices of onions, put it in your sock next to your feet, and then put a plastic bag around it. Otherwise, the juice leaks out into your bed, and you have to wash the bed. But phenomenal. Just incredible. Now, if you got to get up and pee, it's a little weird because you got to walk on onions. But it worked. And if it doesn't work, so what? You had onions on your feet. It's no big deal. But these are the things that my grandmother taught me and my mother taught me too. Castor oil for constipation. It can stimulate the bowels. Now, castor oil has a lot of good things you can do with it. One of the things you can do with castor oil, and I do this every night, is I rub it around my eyes. And it helps take the puffiness away. It helps get rid of some of the wrinkles. And it also gets absorbed into the eye. And castor oil is very healthy for the eye as well. Now, it's not going to be like I'm going to use it one day and I'm going to look like I'm 16 years old again. But make sure it's an organic castor oil, and it seems to work real well. Now, I find that Dr. Joe's intestinal formula works better than castor oil. Dr. Joe's intestinal formula, it's on the website, drjoe.com, in the store section. And it's a formulation. It took me a long time to formulate. Very gentle on the bowels, but it works great. And we have people order from all over the world. They said, we've tried everything else. Nothing works. One of my friends and a patient, horrible digestive issues. And won't change his diet, won't listen to me. But we had this, and I ran out. I couldn't get a manufacturer to make it because it had so many different ingredients. So I finally found another manufacturer. And he grabbed me one day, and he goes, thank you for getting that back up. He says, this stuff's amazing. It's the reason I'm alive. I said, that's kind of cool. So, but that's kind of fun for castor oil things. So we're talking today, if you're just tuning in, home remedies that really work. What's the most effective, least expensive things you can do in many cases? This is not instead of drugs. I have to say that. I'm not trying to tell you don't take drugs, don't do surgery, but these are things you can do every day. Very inexpensive, very effective in most cases, and very low risk, very high reward. And that's like when we talk about back pain. What's the highest reward, lowest risk, least expensive treatment for back pain? How many of you have back pain? Raise your hands. What if there was a way that's more effective and less expensive than what you're doing? Well, that's chiropractic care. Chiropractic care, most effective, least expensive treatment for back pain. Now, when patients come to my office, I tell them this and their minds are blown. 90% of your nerves don't feel pain. You can have pinched nerves and not know it. So in our office, we actually test the nerves that don't feel pain as well. And I tell them, listen, after a few treatments, chances are you're going to start to feel better. And it's going to be very tempting for you to say, I'm done. I don't got to go back there anymore. You can do that. But the problem's going to come back. We basically, metaphorically speaking, we duct tape the problem. It's not going to hold. And so we got to work on the 10% of the nerves that feel pain and the 90% that don't. So if you want to make an appointment, drjoe.com. Normally the first visit is $940. I've reduced that to $299. That's for you, my listeners. Exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays, and a complete nutrition evaluation. I do this because I don't know if you're going to be a candidate for our care or not. And if you are, we tell you. If not, we'll give you the x-rays, we'll give you the reports, and say, go see this doctor, go see this professional. So you're going to walk away with your x-rays no matter what, and x-rays alone cost more than that. And we do that because we try to get to the cause of the problem. And we want to be honest with you. So we accept most insurances, almost all insurances, car accidents, sports injuries. If the car is damaged, you're damaged. I've never seen it any other way. So if you're in an accident, you're going to get calls from scammers. Go see this doctor. Go see this lawyer. It's a scam. It's a felony. The doctor can lose his license. The lawyer can be disbarred. That's how serious it is if they call you without you reaching out to them. So if anybody ever calls you, don't fall for it. I had somebody call up and say, Dr. Joe, your office just called and said I should go see this lawyer and this doctor instead of you. I mean, that's clever. I said, I never said that. Scam. So just be careful with that. But go to my website, drjoe.com, book an appointment right online. Call us if you need to. Let's get you set up. Stop suffering needlessly. Had a patient come in the other day. She said, my husband's yelling at me for weeks to come see you. She had digestive problems. She says, I went out the other day. My digestive system just failed me. And she said, my husband looked at me and said, we're calling Dr. Joe right now. And she came in and we started working on her. So drjoe.com. Send me your questions. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn. Dr. Joe Esposito. Facebook, the Dr. Joe Esposito. Make your appointments. Follow me on social media. Sign up for the podcast, Dr. Joe for the Health of It. And let's get you all this information that you need to get well and stay well. Another thing we do with garlic is garlic for ear infections. And again, a lot of this stuff I learned from my grandparents. And you take a little bit of olive oil, warm olive oil, and you can squeeze garlic, okay, get some garlic juice, and just a couple of drops and put it right in your ear. And if, the nice part is it's a natural antibiotic. If it doesn't work, you can always go do drugs. But this is all natural things that work. Very high reward, very high return, very low risk. Oatmeal bath for itchy skin. If you have itchy skin, eczema, rashes, insect bites, you can just take some oatmeal and water and just, mix up into a paste basically and put it on there, actually sit in a bathtub with it. If you're going to use oats, make sure they're organic. Because one of the things we do in the United States now, yay, is many times we'll spray oats with glyphosate. Glyphosate's a weed killer because it kills the oats and makes it easier to harvest. Well, the glyphosate remains on the oats, and then you're eating it or soaking in it, so don't do that. Oatmeal baths are great. Make sure you do organic. Now, if you're going to eat the oatmeal, I recommend you do steel-cut organic only. Because the regular oats, the old-fashioned oats, can spike your blood sugar. So we don't want to do that. So steel-cut organic oats, it takes about 2 more minutes to cook, maybe 3. I like it better. It's much more texture than the regular mushy oats. And again, you can season it with cinnamon, which will help stabilize blood sugar as well, just like vinegar does. I talked about that. Use some cinnamon, use some stevia if you want to. If you're going to use honey, make sure it's organic, local honey. And steel-cut oats, phenomenal. Really good for you. Now, some people are very, very sensitive to gluten. And there's a protein in oats called avenin. And avenin is very similar to gluten. So some people have issues with oats. If you're really super sensitive, it might cause bloating or gas or diarrhea. So if you're that sensitive, don't do oats. It's just that simple. But oats are gluten-free, unless they're cross-contaminated. But they have avenin, and avenin can cause an issue as well. So just be careful with that. Lemon juice is wonderful. Many times in the summer. In the winter, I do my ginger tea. But in the summer, I'll just take a glass of water. I'll take some lemon juice. If I have fresh, I'll use fresh. I have a lemon squeezer. If I don't, I have organic bottled lemon juice. And I'll add lemon juice and stevia and make lemonade. I mean, it's that simple. I go nuts when if I'm at a fair or something like that. $10 for a big lemonade, mostly ice. And they put like a half a lemon in there or lemon. And I'm thinking, this should be 8 cents. I mean, what a high profit item. And good for them. I mean, it's capitalism at its finest right there. But you can easily make your own lemonade. So you can buy a bottle of organic lemon juice for probably $10, and it'll last you a lifetime almost. A little bit of stevia, some water, some ice. Drink it down. Spectacular. So easy, so inexpensive, so good for you. Absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be doing these things. Because, people say, well, water bores me. I don't like drinking water. I find water boring too. So sometimes I'll just add a little stevia to it. And if you're going to use stevia, be careful. Stevia is about 300 times sweeter than sugar. Now, if you buy commercial stevia, many times it's cut with things like maltodextrin. I don't like that as a cut. But if you can get pure stevia, literally a fingernail full is enough to sweeten a glass of water. And I've done this with patients. If you get pure stevia, you just have to inhale near it, and you can't get the sweet taste out of your mouth. The dust alone is that sweet. So be careful. There's also Lohan. Lohan's another sweetener you can do. Xylitol is something you could use. Allulose, not as sweet, but you can try allulose as well. So there's so many options we have to sugar, and sugar spikes the blood sugar and weakens the immune system. It's like, corticosteroids weaken your immune system. They shut down your immune system. Sugar does essentially the same thing. Now, we're not doing corticosteroids every day, but what are we doing? We're doing sugar. So just be careful with that sugar, folks. I know you crave sugar, and here's my little trick. Oh, another home remedy, John. If you have a sugar craving, what I want you to do is eat something sour. For example, a dill pickle is great. So I'm craving sugar. I want that piece of cake that's in the refrigerator. Oh, my gosh, those donuts I had yesterday are just unbelievable. I want more of those. I want you to have a dill pickle first. And what's going to happen is almost instantly gets rid of your sugar craving. Pretty cool. So something salty, something sour like vinegar, but a dill pickle seems to solve all the problems. My mouth is watering thinking about it. There's also a supplement we can get you called Gymnema, and Gymnema stabilizes blood sugar, and it's spectacular. It's a wonderful supplement. And if you send me an email, I'll send you the link to it. It's not a Dr. Joe product. We're looking to get one. I'm trying to find a manufacturer I can trust that'll make it for me. But Gymnema, a little trick you can do is take the Gymnema tablet and chew it. Now, it doesn't have good flavor, just so you know. But when you chew it, then try eating something sweet. It has absolutely no flavor. It's the weirdest thing. People do it and they say, oh, yeah, whatever. I chewed a tablet. I'm going to have this piece of cake. You have texture but no flavor. You're like, this is crazy. So then your brain says, right now your brain looks at cake. It associates it with something sweet. It releases chemicals in your brain like dopamine. You get high from it. That's a good thing, right? But if you try doing the Gymnema, you eat it, the brain says, oh, I don't even like that anymore. And so it kind of helps reset your cravings. It's really kind of cool. So that's another fun thing that I teach. Another thing you could do is something called oil pulling. Now, oil pulling is pretty cool, and I do this on a regular basis. You can get some coconut oil, some sesame seed oil, organic, of course, and just swish it around in your mouth. Swish it in between your teeth, squirt it in and out of your teeth. And you can do it for up to 15 minutes. And it's really good for gum health. It's really good for detoxifying the teeth. It's not a substitute for getting your teeth cleaned and going to a dentist, but it's something else you can do. All right, I am almost out of time. We're going to do part 2 next week because I got so much more I got to cover. If you have any questions, send them to me through my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. If you want a copy of today's notes and next week's notes, I'm going to put them all together. Just send me an email through the website and say Home Remedies on it. I'm happy to send it to you. It's absolutely free. It's my gift to you. If you listen, I give you my show notes all the time. You want to make an appointment, which you should, drjoe.com for you, your friends, your family, and children. A podcast, Dr. Joe for the health of it, and social media, Dr. Joe Esposito. Follow me. I want to get you well and keep you well. drjoe.com. Thanks, folks. We'll see you soon. All right. You have questions?
What is a good substitute for sour cream?
They have vegan sour creams. I like Tofutti. It's my favorite brand. What's the other one? That's probably my favorite brand. I think Tofutti has the good one. Yeah. But there's plenty of vegan sour cream. So.
What is the best between broccoli, green peas, and green beans?
Broccoli, green beans. I would probably say broccoli. Because the broccoli has a diindole methane, which helps prevent testosterone from converting into estrogen. And the cruciferous vegetables are so good for so many different things. So if I had to pick one, I'd pick broccoli.
How often should I eat carrots?
Whenever you're hungry. No, carrots are great. You can eat them every day. Just make sure they're organic. But carrots are great. High fiber, beta-carotene, which converts into vitamin A. If you take vitamin A by itself, it can be toxic. Beta-carotene converts into vitamin A. It's not toxic. So I would say, eat them all the time. Loaded with fiber. Good for you. What else?
Coconut water and tart cherry juice is very popular with the Tour de France cyclists for pre- and post-race hydration and recovery.
I like it. Yeah, because tart cherry juice will help break up uric acid, and that uric acid builds up in their muscles when they're doing that, that elite level of exercise. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Never thought about that, but that's a good one. What else?
Is there a better tasting alternative to quinoa?
No. Spelt is wheat. Again, you could try that. Millet might be, it doesn't have that tartness and it's sort of like the texture. So I guess if I had to pick something, it would be millet as a substitute for quinoa. So what else?
Can I flavor my rice with vegetable stock?
Oh, absolutely. I love cooking rice with vegetable stock. Sure. I use a lot of vegetable stock. I do a lot of things with that. Makes me happy. I made cream spinach the other day. My grandmother used to make it for me, my German grandmother, and she had the iron skillet, and I have an iron skillet, and I looked at it, and I thought, I'm going to make it like Nanny used to make. And she would use butter and flour, so I used extra virgin organic olive oil, made a roux, and then I added the spinach, and then I added some vegetable stock to it. And it was nice. It reminded me of Grandma, a little garlic powder to it. It's kind of nice. So, what else?
Is honeydew melon good for the summer?
Yeah, absolutely. Honeydews, all the melons are good. Now remember, melons digest very quickly. So one of the rules I have with melon is eat it alone or leave it alone, because it takes about 20 minutes to digest melon. to get from your stomach to your small intestine. In fact, just the other day, I had melon I brought it as a snack. I had it at 9:30 in the morning, and by 11:30, I had my lunch. So, yeah, melons are great, though. What else?
That is all.
All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Make sure you follow me on social media. Make an appointment to come see us.